Make sure y'all stay on point with the Puncher's Point. What is good, y'all? Welcome back to the Puncher's Point. We are running it back again, and could this potentially be a different result than last time? We got the greatest rivalry in women's boxing history. We got Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano for the women's super lightweight championships. Now, not only do we have Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano 3, this is a stacked boxing card. This is an all women's boxing card. This is a stacked women's boxing card. I mean, shout out to Most Valuable Promotions for setting this up because we got Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, Alycia Baumgardner, the Mercado sisters. We got Chantelle Cameron, Shadasia Green, Savannah Marshall. This is an absolute fire of a card. And overall, this is going to be history for women's boxing. Now, obviously, we know about the first two fights. The first two fights, very, very controversial. A lot of people believe that Amanda Serrano defeated Katie Taylor in both fights. There was obviously the headbutts from the last fight that was taking place on the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul Netflix card. Obviously, that was the co-main event for that card. But overall, when both of these women got into the ring, there is no doubt that you are going to expect fireworks. And honestly, you need to expect them again because when these two women step into the ring against each other, they bring out the best in each other. They bring out the fireworks. They bring out the excitement. These two are what women's boxing is all about. Now, the question is the result going to be different? Obviously, with the whole controversy that happened with both of them in the first two fights, this is the third fight around. Can Amanda Serrano finally slay the beast of Katie Taylor? Can she finally get over that hump? Amanda Serrano is a world record breaker when it comes to women's boxing. I mean, she's done it all. She's been a champion in the most divisions out of any women boxer. She's dipped their hat into MMA. Overall, Amanda Serrano is a trailblazer. But Katie Taylor is one of the faces of women's boxing. She is one of the cash cows. So overall, this is going to be a great, great fight. I mean, obviously, both of them been talking a little bit of smack. Obviously, there's respect between the two. However, Amanda Serrano hasn't forgotten what happened the first two times. Katie Taylor, this is a chance for her to prove that she is better than Amanda Serrano. And overall, this is going to be a great fight, but we got to kick into it. What has to change for both of these fighters? What are their strengths and weaknesses? And overall, do I feel like this is going to be a different result or will history repeat itself? But before I answer that, we got to kick straight into the strengths and weaknesses for the champion, Katie Taylor. Now, I do want to let y'all know that when I'm giving out these strengths and weaknesses, it's based off of the two fights that these two women had. And the reason why I go off of that is because Katie Taylor, yes, she's had that two fights with Chantelle Cameron. However, when it comes to Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, these two are meant to be rivals. And when they step into the ring, these two are their toughest competitors. They're each other's toughest competitors. So the reason why I'm giving the strengths and the weaknesses is because this is what I've picked up from the first two fights. This is what I think needs to translate for the trilogy. So with that being said, Katie Taylor, we kicking right into it. The biggest strength I would say for Katie Taylor is her hand speed. See, the thing is with Katie Taylor has always been an elusive fighter, and we're going to get to that in a little bit with her strengths, but the hand speed has always been the one thing about Katie Taylor that separates her from the rest. She has fast hands, and all she needs to do is throw a two-punch combination and slip out the way. And that's basically how Katie Taylor has been racking up win after win after win. She's only had one loss, and that's to Chantelle Cameron. She avenged that. 21-1. Now, even though she might not be a knockout artist, that's what's been getting her to win. She's been tagging her opponents, and she's been able to move out of harm's way. But the hand speed is what does it for her. So I will say that. The other thing about Katie Taylor, she's a very accurate counterpuncher. She's very precise. Katie Taylor is all about accuracy, pinpoint accuracy. She's that type of fighter that is going to go into these fights and she is going to make sure that when she throws a shot, she's going to land it. And it might not be a knockout shot. It could be a jab. It could be a straight. It could be a hook. Who knows what it could possibly be with Katie Taylor? Katie Taylor is very, very versatile. But when she throws a punch, she's looking to aim, and usually she hits her mark. And that's what I will say about Katie Taylor. I do believe she is one of the most accurate women's boxers of all time. She's obviously been struggling a little bit in this Amanda Serrano rivalry. And that's just a testament to how great Amanda Serrano really is and how great of a rival she is to Katie Taylor. But Katie Taylor, make no mistake about it, that hand speed is there and she is super accurate. She's very good with ring movement. Katie Taylor is constantly moving around that ring from round one to round 12. She is constantly moving around that ring. And she's going to make you chase her. It's kind of like the Rocky movies where Rocky's chasing the chicken around the cage. Katie Taylor is the chicken. She is constantly going to keep moving around that ring, expecting you to follow her. And it's not running, because what she's doing is not running. She's luring you in. And she does that very, very well with all of her opponents. She can fight into the middle of the ring, but Katie Taylor is at her best when she's moving around the ring. Constant movement is what makes Katie Taylor so great. That she's able to lure her opponents in traps. That she's able to constantly move around the ring and force these opponents to deplete their gas tank. Her check left hook, for me, that's been a big strength in this rivalry, especially around the first round and then later on in the fights. Katie Taylor's check left hook has been a problem for Amanda Serrano. And that check left hook has been a problem for Amanda Serrano because Amanda Serrano, she's like a bull. She's going to come in. Well, Katie Taylor, one of the things that she learned was, again, lure your opponent in, hit her with that check left hook. That check left hook has been doing wonders for Katie Taylor in this rivalry. And honestly, I could argue that without that check left hook, Katie Taylor doesn't get those wins. So for me, I do feel like that is probably her best power punch. She's got a very good straight right counter as well. See, obviously she can't just keep landing the check left hook, so she goes to that straight right. And the straight right has always been there for her, and it's been a key all around throughout her entire career, that straight right hand. In this Amanda Serrano fight, she really did rely on it a lot. And it was towards the later rounds where she would rely on it, but overall, Katie Taylor, she's very good with that straight right hand. She's very effective, and she loves using it as a counter. That's what I will say about Katie Taylor. She loves using it as a counter. With the check left hook, she waits for her opponent to go in, and she basically hits them with the check left hook before they can even throw a punch. The straight right counter, that's the punch that she throws when she sees her opponent trying to engage and she sees her opponent about to make their attack. So for me, those would be her two best power punches. She's got a chin on her. I mean, there was a moment in that first fight where Katie Taylor was absolutely getting pieced up by Amanda Serrano. I mean, she was taking every single punch on the chin, and there was a moment in that fight where it looked like Amanda Serrano was going to knock her down, and she kept hitting her with everything in the kitchen sink, but Katie Taylor kept coming forward. Say what you want about Katie Taylor, but Katie Taylor has a chin, and I will say that has what has gotten her this far in very competitive and tough fights like Chantelle Cameron, like Amanda Serrano. She has that chin. And I do believe that as long as her chin can sustain those punches, I do believe Katie Taylor's always got a fighting chance. She's got a heart as well. I mean, Katie Taylor, she will fight to the very, very end. And that's what I respect about her. Very good outside fighter. Now, Katie Taylor can kind of fight on the inside, but she's at her best when she's fighting on the outside. Like I said, she loves moving around that ring. But what I mean by being an outside fighter is she's that type of fighter that maybe she'll go into the inside, throw a 1-2 combo, and then she'll slip right out. Katie Taylor loves to control her offense through the outside. She's not going to try to work her way into the inside and stay there. She is going to maybe throw maybe one or two punches on the inside, and then she's going to slip out. That's usually when Katie Taylor is at her best. And she loves engaging on the outside as well. That is what makes Katie Taylor such an elusive fighter, is she's able to control the outside game. Then there's obviously the recovery factor. There's been moments where I thought Katie Taylor was done. Going back to when Amanda Serrano was piecing her up, throwing everything but the kitchen sink. Katie Taylor was on wobbly legs. I thought Katie Taylor was going to go down. She stayed up, but it's that recovery factor. She's kind of in trouble one round, and then the next round she picks it up. There's 5 to 10 seconds where she's getting pieced up, and then right after those 5 to 10 seconds are over, or as their opponent are trying to still piece her up, she's able to recover so quickly. She's able to continue to fight back, and that's something that not many fighters have. You see, once they get pieced up, and once fighters really start being attacked, they go into their back foot, they lean against the ropes, they try to protect themselves, they try to save themselves through the round. Katie Taylor will keep on fighting, and it's almost like even though she's been attacked, she finds a way to kind of climb the mountain again. She finds a way to climb back into the fight and gain the momentum back. So for me, that is a big strength for Katie Taylor as well. And then last but not least, like I said before, she sets traps absolutely amazingly. She's that type of fighter that is going to lure you in. She wants you to follow her. She wants you to try to throw something and she wants you to get tangled up. She wants you to make mistakes. Katie Taylor relies on her opponents making mistakes. So with that being said, what have been her weaknesses in this fight? Well, I will say this. Slow starter. After that first round, Katie Taylor's just slow in the beginning. I mean, she let Amanda Serrano really pick up on the cards both times, the first fight and the second fight. She really let her pick up on the cards, and then she climbed her way back in towards the middle to late rounds. And for me, she's winning, so it's working. But the problem is, in this third fight, you can't start slow. I know the problem with that is Amanda Serrano, she's going to start fast and she's going to try to end fast. She knows that in order to win after these two decisions, after these two controversial decisions, she knows that in order to basically get this win, secure this win, she's going to have to go into this fight and she is going to have to secure those later rounds. So Katie Taylor, again, being a slow starter, that's one of her weaknesses. She can't afford to do with this fight. She gets caught with check left hooks. She's great at throwing them. She's bad at taking them. She gets caught with those check left hooks, especially when she tries to engage onto the inside, especially when she tries to brawl with her opponents. She gets caught with those check left hooks, and then eventually she just lets go of her defense. She separates herself from her game plan, and I don't want to see Katie Taylor continue doing that. It's made for great fights, but we can't keep on seeing Katie Taylor shy away from her game plan. We can't keep on seeing Katie Taylor trying to have brawls with her opponents and getting caught with check hooks. It can't happen. The headbutts. Now, here's the thing. Whoever the ref is, they're gonna be alert for those. After the second fight, they're gonna be alert for those headbutts. Katie Taylor, she's always had a habit of leaning in with her head. And in the Amanda Serrano fight, she did it a lot to the point where it almost seemed like a dirty move. You know what? It was a dirty move. I'll say that right now. It was a dirty tactic. Maybe she didn't do it on purpose. Maybe she did, but overall, it was a dirty tactic. I believe that she was leaning in with her head on purpose. Maybe not to headbutt. She was leaning in with her head on purpose, and that causes headbutts. In this fight, again, I can already tell Amanda Serrano, she don't want to lose three fights to Katie Taylor. So what is she gonna do? She's going to let that ref know, hey, be alert for those headbutts. Be alert for her leaning her head in. And if she continues to do it, the ref is going to warn her to stop leaning her head in. So Katie Taylor is going to have to learn not to keep on going to the inside, not to lean her head in when she's going to the inside. So I will say those headbutts are a weakness for her. She leaves her body open. Um, Amanda Serrano did a great job of targeting her body for the first two fights, especially in the first fight. She would throw that straight to the body, and it almost seemed to find home every single time against Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor is very good with defense when it comes to the top. When you can kind of get into the inside and you start throwing those body punches, that's what starts taking Katie Taylor away from the fight a little bit. I mentioned how she abandons her game plan, but there's also a lack of pressure. See, pressure doesn't mean just brawl with your opponents. Pressure means you're the one pushing your opponent on the back foot. Pressure means that you're the one initiating the action. I want to see Katie Taylor do that a lot more. In this rivalry, in these two fights that she has had with Amanda Serrano has been the aggressor. It's been like that for most of the fight. Amanda Serrano has been the aggressor, and Katie Taylor has been reacting to what Amanda Serrano has been doing offensively. And I think in this fight, Katie Taylor is going to have to be a lot more aggressive. If you go back to the Canelo Alvarez Triple G, the first fight, Triple G was the aggressor. So in order for Canelo Alvarez to learn after being gifted that draw, in order for him to learn, he had to be the aggressor in the second fight. If you go back and watch that second fight, Canelo was a lot more aggressive. In this fight, Katie Taylor needs to be the aggressor. She can't just react to everything Amanda Serrano is doing. Don't get me wrong, there's moments where she should do that, but from the majority of the fight, she needs to put Amanda Serrano on her back foot. There's very little times where Amanda Serrano is being pushed on her back foot, and that's because Amanda Serrano is the power puncher in this rivalry. But Katie Taylor has to, and by has to, I mean it's a must. Katie Taylor has to be more aggressive. And then last but not least, she gets caught in between exchanges. That's part of shying away from your game plan. Again, very exciting trilogy. I could argue that it's one of the greatest trilogies in boxing history. It's right up there with Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti. It's right up there with Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. It's right up there with Roy Jones Jr. and Antonio Tarver. It's a great rivalry. And it's been a very exciting rivalry. Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano is up there with those legendary rivalries. But the problem is, the reason why they're so legendary is because Katie Taylor, instead of being a defensive fighter, the elusive fighter that she is, she's engaging in these brawls with Amanda Serrano. And look, as a boxing fan, I love it. But if we're talking about winning a fight, she can't do that this fight. Katie Taylor is going to have to stick to her game plan. Katie Taylor is going to have to stick on the outside. That's what she's going to have to do to win this fight. Amanda Serrano wants her to engage to the inside. She can't do that. So for me, those would be the strengths and the weaknesses for Katie Taylor. And so we go to Amanda Serrano.
Amanda Serrano.
Amanda Serrano is an incredible fighter. But when it comes down to fighting Katie Taylor, she's always had bad luck. Amanda Serrano, 47-3, 31 knockouts. Amanda Serrano is a legend of and a future Hall of Famer, just like Katie Taylor. Like I said, these two are meant for each other. But what's Amanda Serrano gonna have to do to get this win? And we're gonna get to that a little bit in the keys to victory. But first, I gotta talk about her strengths and her weaknesses. The biggest strength for Amanda Serrano is her pressure. Every single fight Amanda Serrano's in, it seems like she's the aggressor. And when you're a pressure fighter like Amanda Serrano, when you're stepping into the ring with these women and you're constantly controlling the pace, you're going to be the aggressor. You are going to be the pressure fighter. She's going to push her opponents on the back foot. And it doesn't matter who it is, whether it's some lady who doesn't know how to box or whether it's Katie Taylor, she's going to be the aggressor. That's just the way Amanda Serrano's career has been. Body shots. She's very great with body shots, Amanda Serrano. Amanda Serrano is an opponent you should never take lightly. And I give Katie Taylor credit for fighting her 3 times because after the first time, many fighters wanted to fight Amanda Serrano again. I give her a lot of credit for fighting Amanda Serrano 3 times because Amanda Serrano is possibly the most dangerous woman in all of professional boxing. I will say that right now. Obviously, there's going to be people who say Clarissa Shields. Clarissa Shields is great, but when it comes to being dangerous, she's not Amanda Serrano dangerous. That's just the truth and the reality of it. So I will say a big part of that is Amanda Serrano's body punches. There's a reason why Amanda Serrano in most fights is able to dig deep and is able to basically control the entire fight because she's able to tire her opponents out, especially with body shots. The other thing about her is her straights. Amanda Serrano's got great straights. She got straight hands, and the truth is, she's very accurate when it comes to those straights as well. To me, that's her best power punch. She's very good at cutting the ring. Amanda Serrano is good at cutting the ring. She's very good at trapping her opponents in corners. There's a reason why she's always pushing them up on the back foot because Amanda Serrano knows how to cut a ring. She knows how to take these elusive fighters and put them in a corner. She's done it a little bit with Katie Taylor. Has she had the best success with it? No, but overall, if we're talking about the fights that she's had with Katie Taylor, at least half the fight she's cutting the ring on Katie Taylor. So I will say that that is a strength that I have for her. If she's able to cut the ring against an elite, elusive fighter like Katie Taylor. She's very versatile. I mean, like I said, the girl has an MMA background. The girl is able to hit you with some power punches. She has a good jab. She has great hooks. She can hit you with some uppercuts. She's going to go to your body. Amanda Serrano is a great fighter. Against all other fighters besides Katie Taylor, she's able to fight onto the outside. She's able to fight onto the inside. And Amanda Serrano is able to minimalize Katie Taylor in certain ways because of her versatility. Now, Amanda Serrano, even though she hasn't really been knocking women out recently, Amanda Serrano has power. And I don't think that's something that Katie Taylor should underestimate. By underestimate, what do I mean? Well, if a fighter has power, you don't go in there and you don't go punch for punch with them. Katie Taylor is not a knockout artist. So she cannot go into this fight brawling with Amanda Serrano. I said that when it came down to the Katie Taylor breakdown. She can't go into this fight brawling with Amanda Serrano. It can't happen. And the reason why is because Amanda Serrano, that's when she will take advantage of it. She almost knocked her out in the first fight. She can't. Katie Taylor cannot do that this time. But Amanda Serrano, if she's got a chance to win this fight, she has to engage into the inside. She's got to use that power. Trust me, it's still there. Even though she hasn't been really knocking out fighters, that power is still there. She sets up open shots very, very well. If you go to the second fight, she really clipped Katie Taylor with a beautiful, beautiful feint. And I do believe that she could do it again. I believe Amanda Serrano improved from the first fight. And I do believe that in the second fight, she looked a lot better. But the third fight is going to be the fight where Amanda Serrano is going to have to let it all out, or else this is going to be a 3-0 sweep for Katie Taylor. So, in my opinion, one of her strengths is definitely setting up punches, and I do believe that we're going to see it a lot more often. We're not just going to see brawls. We're going to see Amanda Serrano be the aggressor, and we're going to see her set up some combinations and some punches, and we're going to see her put Katie Taylor on the back foot, maybe get Katie Taylor in some trouble. High volume. Amanda Serrano is constantly throwing punches. She's not that type of person to shy away. She's not going to hold her punches back. If she's thinking about throwing a punch, she will throw that punch. And that's what I respect about Amanda Serrano is her high volume in punches. She is going to go in there and she's going to throw a bunch of punches. Are all of them going to land? No, but let me tell you something. That's where the pressure comes from right there. Another one with a great chin. I mean, these two threw everything at each other. There was not a single thing that these two didn't throw at each other, and they kept on taking each other's best shots, and they kept on dishing them. So I will say, Amanda Serrano, just like Katie Taylor, she got heart and chin. And then last but not least, Amanda Serrano to me is an inside fighter. She can fight on the outside against many fighters, but when it comes to Katie Taylor has the outside edge. If you go and you look at Amanda Serrano, and you look at her and her fights with Katie Taylor opposed to other fighters, Amanda Serrano did not have too much success when it came to the outside. Sure, there was the punch that she clipped Katie Taylor in the second fight, but other than that, most of her damage would come from the inside. Most of her damage would come from Katie Taylor entertaining the fact of throwing punch for punch with her. But when it comes to the outside game, Katie Taylor is elite. That's her bread and butter. Katie Taylor is elite, so I don't think that Amanda Serrano is going to be able to beat Katie Taylor from the outside. I think that she's extremely versatile on the inside, and I think that's how Amanda Serrano is going to win this fight. So, what would have been the weaknesses for Serrano? Well, lack of head movement. That's what I will say. Amanda Serrano, to me, when I looked at these two fights, defensively, she wasn't all there. It was more of an offensive approach. And I would like to see her shift from an offensive approach to just a little bit more defense. I don't want to see a defensive approach from Amanda Serrano, but in order for her to win this fight, she's going to have better defense. She's going to have to move around a little bit. She's going to have to move her head a little bit. She can't just go in there doing the same thing she did the first two fights, or else they're going to give the win to Katie Taylor. So I do believe that head movement is very crucial in this fight. She struggles with mobile fighters. Katie Taylor. If you go look at the beginning, if you go look at the first round in the first fight, if you look at when Katie Taylor was climbing her way back into the fight, gaining momentum, what was happening? She was throwing two, three punch combinations and slipping out. And there were moments where Amanda Serrano wanted to throw a punch and she would throw it and she would miss. And that's because she either underestimated the timing and the speed of Katie Taylor or she couldn't catch up to her. So for me, I don't think she does the best with elite outside fighters. Maybe fighters who can fight on the outside, but they're not elite like a Katie Taylor. Maybe she got their number right there. But when it comes to somebody as elite as Katie Taylor, who solely relies on being an outside fighter, I do believe that that's where she tends to struggle. She hasn't been able to close out. That's been her problem. Look, you could say whether or not you believe she won the first two fights all you like, but there's no doubt that when it came down to the championship rounds, that Katie Taylor took advantage of those. There's no doubt that she would be up 4 rounds to 1, and Katie Taylor would just climb back into the fight. Both fights, that's how it went. It would be Amanda Serrano up 4 rounds to 1, and then Katie Taylor would pick up the next 2 out of 3. She can't do that. And then the championship rounds, Katie Taylor would pick up the majority of those. And that's why these fights have been so close, and that's why Katie Taylor has always came out with the victory. Amanda Serrano, again, when you notice, you have to close out. I'm not talking about a knockout, but I'm saying you got to finish strong. You start strong, you have to finish strong. That's just the way it is. And then last but not least, it's the later rounds. The later rounds, she lets her foot off the gas. We go to the keys to victory. We're going to start off with Katie Taylor. What does Katie Taylor have to do to sweep Amanda Serrano? And what does she have to do to make it more of a convincing win than the first two? Well, I will say this, stay on to the outside. I don't want to see the brawls no more. I've seen y'all put up fireworks. It's going to be a great fight regardless, but stay on the outside. That is how you're going to win the fight, Katie Taylor. Stay on the outside. That's the first key. The second key is move around the ring. Move around the ring. That's part of staying on the outside, but move around the ring. That's what you need to do. Okay? I don't want to see you engage into the inside, have brawls. I don't want to see you try to beat her into the inside. I don't want to see you stay in one place. Move around the ring from round 1 all the way to round 10. And then last but not least, use your check hooks. When she comes in, use those check hooks. When she tries to throw a punch, use that right counter. But the check hooks are going to be very, very important in this fight. And I do believe that if Katie Taylor uses those three, if she sticks to that game plan, if she doesn't shy away from it, if she doesn't go away from it, and she doesn't entertain brawling with Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor is going to have a pretty decisive win. And so we go to Amanda Serrano. Well, what is Amanda Serrano going to have to do with this fight? Set up your power shots. Okay, it's not all just a brawl into the inside. Set those power shots up. One of your best punches in this entire rivalry came from you throwing feints and setting up those punches. So set up those power shots. Number two, target the body. Amanda Serrano is going to eventually gas out a little bit, especially in the middle to later rounds, especially come round 7 and 9. Those are going to be the rounds where Katie Taylor is really going to gas out, and you have to take advantage of those. So I will say early, target the body and keep on targeting that body. If she tries to engage into the inside, keep on targeting the body. Again, Katie Taylor's stamina, her endurance, it will go down. Keep targeting that body. And then last but not least, finish strong. I'm saying that right now. You have to finish strong. That's how you're gonna win this fight. You could win the first 5 rounds, but we all know we've seen it in the first 2 fights that if you can't finish strong, if you let her kind of take control in the last 3 to 4 rounds, she's gonna win this fight. You have to finish strong, and if Amanda Serrano can do that, then Amanda Serrano's gonna have a decisive win. And so we head to the betting odds, and Amanda Serrano is the favorite, shockingly, at minus 186, while Katie Taylor is the underdog at plus 144. The most likely method to victory is going to be Amanda Serrano by decision at minus 110. The least likely method to victory is going to be Katie Taylor by knockout at plus 1800. So if you ask me, how do I see this fight going? And here's where y'all need to listen. All right. This is my call to all the listeners, all the people watching on the YouTube. This is my call to pay attention. Katie Taylor is sweeping this 3-0. And I'm going to tell y'all why. See, I thought about it and I'm like, okay, it's on an MVP card. And they could give that win to Amanda Serrano. Amanda Serrano has that win in her favor. In the first 2 fights, she was very dominant. But here's the thing. I always believe that when a fighter is gifted a win, or when a fighter is given a second chance, the great fighters can learn from all the mistakes that they did in those first fights. For instance, Canelo Alvarez got outclassed by Triple G. The second fight, it wasn't the same. I believe Canelo won the second fight. And then obviously the third fight, because the second fight was still close, obviously the third fight, Canelo took over. We go to Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach had a great game plan. He gave it his all. That was his best performance of his career. That was one of Tank's worst performances of his career. It was a draw. Tank got gifted that draw. Actually, you know what? In my opinion, I still believe Tank won that fight 7 rounds to 5. Y'all can hate me in the comments all you like. I don't care. But I do believe when you have a bad performance like that, I do believe when Tank comes back, he's going to be new and improved. And obviously, that's not always the case. An example against that would be Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury outclassed Deontay Wilder in the first fight. Deontay Wilder got gifted a draw. Go to the second fight. We all know what happened. Tyson Fury dominated that second fight. And then the third fight happened and Tyson Fury won again. So for me, here's what I think is going to happen. Katie Taylor is great enough to learn from the mistakes that she made the first 2 fights. And there were different mistakes that she made from the first 2 fights. The first fight, she was brawling with her way too much. The second fight, there was the headbutts. But overall, Katie Taylor has always done enough, at least in the judges' eyes, to get the win. I'm not saying that she won those first 2 fights. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is she's done enough in the judges' eyes to get those wins. And a lot of y'all are going to say it's rigged. A lot of y'all are going to say they're just saving Katie Taylor. Well, you know what? I think in this third fight, I think it's going to be a little bit more decisive. I think at the end of this fight, we're going to look at it and we're going to say Katie Taylor won that fight. Credit to her. I honestly believe that's what's going to happen. I'm going to go Katie Taylor by unanimous decision. And I think that that's how this trilogy is going to end. It's going to end with a 3-0 sweep for Katie Taylor. Now, the question is, should y'all bet on Amanda Serrano? I could see Amanda Serrano win this fight. And the reason why I could see it is because Amanda Serrano is a great fighter. And again, it's very possible that what happened in the first 2 fights, it could happen in the third fight. It's very possible that Amanda Serrano, as great as she is, she could tweak up the mistakes that she made and finish strong. That's very, very possible. But the reason why I have Katie Taylor win this fight, the reason why I would actually go and put a bet on Katie Taylor is because Katie Taylor is the defending champion. And we've said it many, many times on this podcast, me and Breezy, but I'm going to remind y'all, in order to beat the champion, you have to beat them decisively. If you win 7 rounds to 5, they're not giving you a win. You have to beat the champion decisively, especially when the champion is one of the faces of women's boxing, like Katie Taylor. You have to beat her decisively. It's just plain and simple. That's the clear, realistic way I can break it down. So, do I think that's going to happen? No, I don't think Amanda Serrano is going to beat Katie Taylor decisively. She beat her decisively, I think, in the second fight, and they robbed her. The first fight, it was really close. A lot of people believe Amanda Serrano won that fight, and she didn't get it. So for me, she's gonna have to have a better performance than those two fights, which isn't impossible to say. But that also means that Katie Taylor is gonna have a down fight. Now, there's the possibility of it being on an MVP card. Maybe that benefits Amanda Serrano. Maybe they give Amanda Serrano a favorable win to make up for the first two. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Katie Taylor's gonna go into this fight. I don't think she's going to engage in brawls with Amanda Serrano like she did. I think she's going to go into this fight. I think she's going to stick to the outside. I think she's going to play it safe. And I think Katie Taylor's going to walk out with like an 8 rounds to 4 unanimous decision. I think it's going to be like a 96, 94, 97, 93 victory for Katie Taylor. I think she's going to retain her belts. And that's how I think that this fight is going to go down. But there's a lot of things to watch out in this card for. Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, those two are the main event. But you have Alycia Baumgardner, who has been talking about possibly moving up to fight the winner of those two. So you got Alycia Baumgardner on the come up. She's got to go against one of the Mercado sisters. That's going to be a very tough fight for her. Chantelle Cameron is on this card. We all remember the two fights that she had with Katie Taylor. She won one, she lost one. Again, she might be looking for that trilogy against Katie Taylor. You got Savannah Marshall and Shadasia Green. Who's to say that Clarissa Shields doesn't go back down the middleweight or super middleweight and try to challenge one of those two? This is a very, very historic but very important card for women's boxing. This is going to be big. And then I just found out that they're going to be giving out performance bonuses, and whoever gets that performance bonus, they're going to get $250,000. So say what you want about MVP promotions, say what you want about who they're signing, but overall, they're doing great business for women's boxing, and I couldn't be happier to see it myself. So shout out to MVP Promotions. Shout out to whoever's running it. Obviously, Jake Paul, he's one of the co-founders of it. Shout out to him, honestly, because he's been doing a great job with women's boxing, really putting Amanda Serrano in the spotlight, really putting Alycia Baumgardner in the spotlight. And I know a lot of y'all might be thinking I'm a Jake Paul fan. Trust me when I tell you I'm not. I hate to give him credit for things, but I got to give credit where credit is due. He's doing a great job with women's boxing. So shout out to him. Shout out to MVP Promotions. And again, I'm just glad we get to see this fight a third time around. A part of me is saying that there shouldn't be a trilogy after the first two, but hey, it's going to be a great fight overall. Make sure y'all definitely tune into Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano 3. There's going to be so many great women's fights on that card, so many championship fights, so many crucial fights. So definitely make sure y'all tune into that. And with that being said, what are y'all doing? Make sure y'all continue to tune into the Puncher's Point. Y'all keep on going from different boxing YouTube channels, some of the big ones, and all they're doing is starting drama, talking crap about each other. Not us. I'm here to give y'all a realistic answer. Everything I say, it's realistic and it's legit. Definitely keep on tuning into the Puncher's Point, because trust me when I tell you, the Puncher's Point is the future. And with that being said, make sure y'all stay on point with the Puncher's Point.